fact of the matter is, any country, whether it's the United States, whether it's Japan, whether it's any country that issues its own currency, never has an issue of solvency. If its debt is denominated in its own currency, it could always make that payment.
So then what are we worrying about with the U.S. debt? What are we worrying about then? Why can't we just spend into the 14, 15, 16 trillion dollars and continue on this path? What's the problem? What's the big debate about then?
Well, there's no problem. The debate is that people have a misunderstanding of this. They view the reality in a way which is mired in misconception and myth. And this is pervasive from the common person on the street all the way up to the highest levels of policy, including our own president, who goes out there publicly and says we are out of money. That is an impossibility. The United States of America issues the U.S. dollar. It could spend it in any amount that it wants to. The only real issue here, the only thing that we have to consider is whether or not that spending at some point leads to an inflation. And the only way that's going to happen is when the government spends beyond the capacity of the economy to produce. In other words, when every single person in this country who is able to work is working, and when all of our resources are used up and you spend beyond that, that's when you have a sustainable inflation. That's the real issue we should be talking about. That's the question we should be asking ourselves. And frankly, with a 9% unemployment rate and millions of people out of work and industrial capacity far below what our potential is and millions of unsold homes and all this other excess capacity that we have, what we should be doing is increasing demand. And the way that we do that in an economy where most people are trying to cut back their debt is for the government to step in and stimulate demand by spending on infrastructure, on education, on healthcare, on basic research and development, on transportation, on alternative energy. These are the things we did in the past. These are the things that created the real capital that was passed along from generation to generation. It's what made this country rich, and it's exactly the thing we're not doing now because we've become sidetracked on this nonsensical issue of the government of the United States running out of money when it is an impossibility.
Mike Norman debunking all of the conventional wisdom we are hearing about the deficit and debt debate right now going on in Washington. I appreciate you joining us. Sorry we're all out of time, but we look forward to seeing you again soon.